Hello class 5 students. We have almost come to the end of this chapter, Great Voyages of Discovery. Now what we have seen is first of all we learned what were the reasons for the Great Voyages of Discovery. There were as many as 4 to 5 reasons for that. We have already discussed in that in the previous videos. Then we have the famous explorers, and we have spoken about Henry the Navigator, who was also known as Prince Henry of Portugal, and he was under the belief that if he could sail around Africa, he could reach India. Bartholomew Diaz, he was also under the he was also a Portuguese sailor, and he also thought the same way like Henry the Navigator. And whereas Henry the Navigator, he did made certain exploration between 1420 to 1460 CE, and he also helped in expanding trade. Bartholomew Diaz set sail in 1487 CE, and with 3 ships. And what happened was he encountered a lot of winds and currents. He followed it. He reached till the southern tip of Africa, but he did not, means his crew was tired, he did not proceed further. Then we have Christopher Columbus. Now, whereas Henry the Navigator and Bartholomew Diaz thought of sailing eastwards, Christopher Columbus, on the other hand, thought of sailing westwards. Okay, he thought that if he sailed westwards and sailed around the Pacific Ocean, he would be able to reach India and China. And with this thought, this Bartholomew Diaz and Henry the Navigator, they were Portuguese sailors, but Christopher Columbus was an Italian sailor. But he was an Italian sailor, but though he was an Italian sailor, he lived in Spain. So he got all the help from the Spanish king and queen. And he set out from Spain in 1492 CE, and he sailed for 2 months, and he reached the Bahama Islands in Caribbean Sea. And he thought that he had reached Asia. He undertook some more voyages and found out some more islands in Caribbean Sea and north coast of South America. Okay, he thought that they were, and he thought that they were East Indies, whereas what he found out was actually West Indies. Next comes Vasco da Gama. He was the one who was actually successful in reaching India, but he was a Portuguese, and he followed the same route as Henry the Navigator and Bartholomew Diaz. He sailed right around Africa, and then he reached the he sailed round the Cape of Good Hope, and he reached the port of he set out on in 1597. He reached the port of Calicut in 1498 CE, and again he returned in 1499 with a lot of merchandise and other goods. And he was the first who was able to establish direct trade link between Europe and India. Ferdinand Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan was a Portuguese sailor. In 1519 CE, he sailed westward around the southern tip of the American continent crossed the Pacific and reached the Philippine Islands. Magellan was killed in Philippines, but his ship and his few sailors sailed across the Indian Ocean round the Cape of Good Hope to reach Spain in 1522 CE. This journey around the world proved that the earth was round. Another famous sailor who was also a Portuguese, his name was Ferdinand Magellan. What he did, he followed the route of Christopher Columbus, and he sailed right till the tip of South America, and then he crossed the Pacific and reached the Philippine Islands. Now the map given in your book is flat, but the world means it's not flat. Our earth is round, so you have to think in that way. So he reached the Philippine Islands, but after reaching the Philippine Islands, unfortunately he was killed. But though he was killed, his crew sailed back, but they didn't follow that same route. Now they sailed back following the route of Vasco da Gama, and they reached Spain in Ferdinand Magellan set out in 1519 CE, and his crew reached Spain in 1522 CE. A very important discovery of the exploration of Ferdinand Magellan was that this journey established the fact that the world was round. So this was about some of the famous explorers. Now everything has an effect. Okay, so importance of the voyages of discovery means the effect of the voyages of discovery. These voyages had very important effects on the lives of people in Europe and other parts of the world. There was an increase in world trade. European countries began to trade with Asia and America. Asia introduced spices, gems, paper, ivory, textiles, and porcelain to Europe. Potatoes, cocoa, corn, and tobacco, which were new to Europe, came from America. So this first paragraph is the good effects. So what was the good effect? That is, trade was established. World trade, it expanded world trade. Many new items were introduced from Asia and America, and all these items like from Asia, spices, textiles, ivory, gems, paper, porcelain, all these were introduced to Europe. And from America, potatoes, corn, cocoa, tobacco, all these things were introduced to Europe by the Americans. Now this was about the good effects. Now what were the bad effects? As new lands were explored and conquered, the process of colonization of Asia, Africa, and Latin America began. And what is colonization? The areas that were conquered became colonies of European countries. So they started settling down. Okay, once they found out these countries, they started settling down over there, and they became the rulers. That is colonization. The native people of the colonies lost their independence in many cases and were exploited by the European powers. Nobody knows better than us. We were, under the British rule for 200 years, and the French also tried to establish their supremacy, but the English proved themselves much better. And so this colonization was a very bad effect of the great voyages of discovery. Another thing was the slave trade. Sadly, the slave trade began in Africa, where thousands of people were sold as slaves to the Americas. So two bad effects. One is colonization, one is slave trade. Were the bad effects of the great voyages of discovery. With this, we come to the end of the chapter. Hope that you have understood the chapter. Please go through it once again. If you have any problem, you can ask me in the online classes. Thank you.